flying and escaping the atmosphere. They'll say, oh, because it has an escape velocity and the thrust of the rockets. But if you ask the same scientist at the pub, they'll say, because we wanted to go to the moon. And suddenly they become an Aristotelian again. And I think that the influence of these other kinds of causation isn't really there. The only other thing that came to mind is potentially the pre-Socratics. And Joe already said that the sort of first philosopher, as it were, was Thales. But people might have thought when he went to say that, well, the first philosopher that people generally think of is Socrates. If you ask somebody who was the first philosopher, they'll say Socrates. But Socrates didn't just spring up ex nihilo. He's working sometimes, and him and Aristotle and Plato, they're working sometimes in response to, but certainly after and contemporary with other thinkers too, who a lot of the time their ideas just, because they weren't particularly popular or didn't win the war of ideas, we don't even know about. Parmenides didn't think that change could occur. In fact, you've heard of Zeno's paradoxes. So Zeno had these wonderful paradoxes of motion where, like, I can't clap my hands because first I'd have to halve the distance, then half the distance, then half the distance, and you can't complete an infinite series of tasks, so I can't clap my hands. Everybody knows about Zeno's paradoxes, but do they know that the reason he came up with them is because he was following in the school of Parmenides, who believed that change was literally impossible, and these were paradoxes which were kind of supposed to demonstrate the paradoxical nature of change for that reason. Like, again, we've got the conclusion, but we haven't got the working.